Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Morning Brief, your perfect morning starter right here on Channels Television. And I'm here with one goon, one half of the goons. Hi, Coyote.
Where's the goon?
Well, Jeffrey, the other goon.
There's no goon here. There's only Coyote. It's a beautiful Friday morning here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. The weekend is finally here. Well, just almost. You're welcome to the show. I'm Coyote Okikulu. I just want to get started with this bill for compulsory voting.
Right, you're in the spirit.
Did I read your mind?
Yes, indeed.
While we still try to resolve, because I know that some of the students who are billed to rewrite the UTM examination shall be writing from today up until Tuesday or thereabouts. So that is happening. We're keeping our eyes on that one. But there's this bill in the National Assembly that is meant to make Nigerians vote, I don't want to say by force, because that's the expression, by force, if you're in this line, by force, by fire. Well, it has passed second reading in the House of Reps. And I don't know if this is the will of the people, if this will be the will of the people, but, you know, it's quite interesting to see that I think we'll be the very first nation to try this, to make it compulsory for people to vote on election day. The plus for me, or at least the win for me, is I think at the end of the day, we'll really know how many people are on that voters register. Indeed, in fact, beyond the 90+ million that we usually tout. Once everybody comes out to vote, we're able to have the figures. But then, isn't this an infringement? I mean, everybody has a freedom to choose.
Absolutely. The bill for mandatory voting, surprisingly, accelerated its move at the National Assembly, at the lower chamber to be precise, yesterday. And one of the arguments in favor of this bill is that it will curb vote buying. And, quite to the contrary, I believe it would make it more strategic, for vote buyers to be intentional about their approaches to vote buying. If everyone must compulsorily vote, then you must then, give them a reason to go out and vote. Rather, I think the National Assembly should be looking at those Citizens' 37 recommendations on electoral amendment, especially ahead of the 2027 general election. And one of the components in that, recommendation by citizens is early voting, which is more critical, which makes more sense, which would allow essential workers who are often on essential duties, like Kayode and I, medical personnel, the police, to vote. In fact, indeed, members of the commission, the Electoral Commission themselves, if they're allowed to vote. I understand that being a member of the commission, they are apolitical to an extent such that they're not allowed to participate in electoral processes. But that apart, that is even secondary. What is primary is the other recommendations on that list by citizens. Another which I believe, I gather that INEC itself is pushing, and which is unprecedented in the history of the Electoral Commission, is the request to divest the powers of the appointment of resident electoral commissioners from the president to the commission itself. And I agree with Samson Itodo on this one, who says that this impacts on the operational independence of the commission. Those are the critical elements that the National Assembly should be debating on. And another is Section 65 of the Electoral Act, which citizens are pushing for amendment, but which INEC is curiously asking that it be limited to election cases where, commissioners, resident electoral commissioners or returning officers are made to declare under duress, results where, returning officers are made to declare under duress. That, raises eyebrows. And the National Assembly should be debating on this, not on mandatory voting. Why should INEC be limiting such powers to results that are declared under duress, instead of on critical results that are debated upon not just by candidates but are also contested by citizens who frown on certain results that they monitored themselves, that they took snapshots of electoral forms. Those are the critical issues that the National Assembly should be debating on, particularly because the tenure of this current chairman of the commission, will be expiring in December, and he still has some elections to superintend over before his tenure is over. Certainly not mandatory voting for mature Nigerians. Coyote.
Well, yes, indeed. I think Australia, some other countries practice it in bits and pieces. Some say, well, if you're over 70, don't vote compulsorily. Some, they restrict it to certain areas. So it's something that we've seen before, and those countries did it for a number of reasons. So yes, it's been done in other parts. Nigeria wouldn't be the first, but let's see how that plays out. Really, it's still at the House of Reps, and there should be a public hearing. There should be the usual process before this becomes law, if it becomes law. But it will be interesting to see if this will change dynamics or how this will impact on the dynamics. But absolutely, Bukola, those other points are important. But what more do we have for you on the program today? Well, before elections, there is usually politics, or the politics of things, and that's what usually leads to the election. So what is the state of Nigeria's political landscape? Again, this one-party system matter just wouldn't go to bed. It is still around, very much with us, staring us in the face. So where are we as of today? We have a member of the House of Representatives, one of the spokespersons, joining us on the program, because we've seen a lot of move in the National Assembly of late.
Well, it's Friday, so we're going to rest easy on the tough talking points. And so we'll be talking with Dr. Love. And what's the subject matter this morning? I'm sure it's something that interests Coyote, who's a lover boy. A deep dive into the emotional journey of recovery and learning to love again after being hurt. So Dr. Love has answers to your very critical questions.
Where did that even come from, Bukola?
This morning.
How am I in this conversation? But yeah, it's a conversation we definitely should have. Heartbreaks come in different dimensions. Some look at their bank accounts and they see heartbreak. You know, some it's governance. For some, it's their love life. So yeah, absolutely, it's something you should not miss. But that's not all. We sit down with a Nigerian female artist who's doing some great stuff. Her name, Bagetti. Oh yes, a rising Afrobeat star from Lagos who is blending music with advocacy, using her sound to promote unity, identity, and social change. She has an EP, which is, of course, making the round. So we'll talk about that, plus more.
Well, that's not all. It's Friday again, as we said earlier, as you also know. So it's time to distress, as I always say. Wellness will be on the agenda as well as we continue with our yoga experience. Kaide missed out on it last week, but thankfully he's here, and we'll all be getting on the floor and trying to take out some of the stress from the week, and we invite you to join us on that segment this morning.
There you go. So I may just be a spectator, but the point is we need everyone to distress. There you have it. So it is a package we have for you today, a healthy dose of what is happening across board. So let's get started, shall we? And I'd like us to just begin with some of the stories making the rounds, particularly what you're saying about that story. There's this video that got a lot of people talking, and it was a passenger who caused a scene at the Murtala Mohammed Airport over overweight luggage. That's usually a thorny issue, particularly when you want to travel. But there was a major scene that was caused at that airport. And we just want you to watch this and see how it played out. Never the way to go, but just lots of things to learn from that video, how to de-escalate issues, how to respond in times like this. I think traveling is usually a very stressful thing.
Anger management,
yeah, anger management.
Conflict resolution, management of this scenario, these types of scenarios, even by the airport's authority, a lot to take away from that. But you know, this particular passenger seems to have a lot of anger and, you know, seemingly uncontrolled, really. There's a lot of violence that we can see here as well. So, oh dear. But it looks like no one was hurt in this particular video. We hope that citizens can conduct themselves better in the future. On to the next one.
Absolutely, Bukola. And this next one, well, it's not something we want to see, but we still see these issues time and again. And well, there's a video that showed a civil defense personnel who's manhandling a man. So while we see everyday people maybe angry over issues at the airport, we also see law enforcement agents who are crossing the line time and again. And this really left a bad taste in the mouth. This happened in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, at the Spa area. And well, it's something we would show you just maybe to push that point home. But while we talk about what's happening on the front pages of social media, let's take a look at the front pages of the dailies today and show you how the dailies are reporting what is happening across the country. So let's get started, guys, with the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at what the Guardian newspaper has to report this morning, which is Friday, May the 16th, 2025. There you see higher education, public varsities, students in dire straits over blackouts, failed facilities. And you can just see the pictorial representation there.
Go ahead. I think this is Jeffrey's microeconomic elephant in the room that has refused to move. I really wish Jeffrey was here with us this morning, Kadi. Take a look at it. That's the elephant, and on the body of this elephant, you have poor power supply, weak infrastructure, and there really should be more. Out-of-school children, inflation, which, by the way, eased, you know, just by about a few points following the announcement yesterday to 23.71 points. And in order to get this, you know, giant microeconomy off the ground and working, you know, what it requires, and we see that tractor there, is moving the elephant in the room will take a lot more than policies to real action. So the wins that have been celebrated, you know, by cabinet members of the administration are inadequate, you know, to change what really is the challenge on the ground. And those are high price of commodities, you know, weak institutions, weak, you know, health institutions. Of course, you also have out-of-school children, and that makes poverty, you know, concerns with insecurity that is also affecting agriculture. And we could go on and on with the list. But we really appreciate this pictorial representation of what the economy is saying by the Guardian.
But this is particularly for higher education, and I think now is a great time to talk about it, because we're talking JAMB, the UTME, the glitch recorded, all of the emotional trauma caused. But these are the universities that the students want to get into, right? So imagine they have to go through stress, getting into the universities, and then when they get into the universities, this is what they meet. Poor infrastructure, power issues. It's almost like, come on, we deserve better for these young ones.
Yeah, well, my own representation. These issues are related, Kadi, whether we like it or not. Let's go to the Blueprint newspaper, which is next this morning. And, you know, a bit of a cheery news, but just a little reduction that we're reporting. NBS report, food prices ease by 0.12% as inflation drops to 23.71%. And there are two riders that give us insight. Says significant decrease experienced in April, decline technically due to change in base year that's ascribed to the agency. And, you know, perhaps we could have recorded some more progress report if there hadn't been the suspension, the uncertainty in that window of the negotiations over the naira for crude policy, following which we now experienced or witnessed another increase in the pump price of petrol. And that revolves, every other thing revolves around that. We now saw again high price of commodities afterwards. So perhaps we would have been reporting more progress in terms of prices of commodities this morning if that had not been a sort of inhibition along the way. But there are other stories on the front pages this morning. We also saw, besides the debate on mandatory voting yesterday at the House of Representatives, the motion on the glitches experienced, which compromised the 2025 UTME result. It was also debated yesterday. And that's it from the front page of Blueprint newspaper.
Well, let's take a look at the Vanguard newspaper for you. The Vanguard newspaper leads with security. And it's a special report. Okay, just before the Vanguard newspaper, we'll bring you the Vanguard newspaper. Take a look at this Nigeria. This Nigeria has on its front page the story we talked about earlier on. Voter apathy. Reps canvass compulsory adult voting. So, yeah, of course, there has to be adult voting, right? A bill criminalizing non-participation in voting by eligible Nigerians scales second reading. Let's know what you think about this, actually. Is it the way to go? Obviously, this should not be in isolation. Would it still be just one-day voting, or it will be spread across days? Because if you have every Nigerian now, in quote, forced to come out to vote, clearly you need more hands. You need some more space to carry that out, more time as well. So a lot of things need to be thought through to achieve all of this. But hey, it's a page 4 read. Right there, this Nigeria newspaper. There's also the inflation story, but something to chew on really as we build up to 2027. Compulsory voting or not?
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's see if we can take Vanguard newspaper now. And Vanguard chooses a different path this morning. Take a look at it. Special report. It's a special report. Ways out of banditry, insurgency, by ex-generals, security experts. And there are quite a few riders there, a host in fact. We need a 1 million-man strong military force to tackle the menace. That's part of the argument, the calls for more boots on the ground as against the current, insufficient number of an already overwhelmed military helping to tackle internal insurrection. We also have, that's ascribed to Brigadier General Bello. There's also international diplomacy not working in Nigeria's favor. That's ascribed to Major Efoziem. Address soldiers' fatigue, Major Olorunimbe. So this special report pretty much picks on the minds of retired generals, those who have fought, on the battlefield and, have the experience on what can be done differently. That's it on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. But of course, there are other stories that you can also chew on if you pick up a copy of that paper this morning. There's politics, at the top of the nameplate. An interesting one, but you do the honors yourself this morning. That's it on the front pages this morning. There'll be more time to take our what you're saying about the front pages online later on, but we'll begin our conversation in a moment. Don't forget that you can send your messages and of course your videos, your thoughts, your concerns, your contributions to us on X, and of course on to us on our email as well. But we'll take a break now. When we return, we'll begin the first leg of our conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. And so our first conversation this morning bothers on the gale of defections that we've witnessed in the last month or so, with a lot of talk about the motivation for the defections, the consequence of the defection. And of course, we're expanding the conversation a little further. This time around, we're looking at it through the eyes of someone, who is right in the institution that is witnessing mass defection. Of course, we're going to have another, resource person as well. But let's welcome Dr. Midala Balami. He's a Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Communications. He's right there in our Abuja studio. Good morning, Honorable Balami. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Bukola. Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. And we saw yesterday on the floor of the House of Representatives another series of defection with 3 more members moving to the APC. And, it's now become the norm. Time and again, we're seeing defections at the National Assembly. And it seems that, the elected representatives are insensitive to the feelings and the commentary, that is shaping, that is trailing the defections, and of course the timing of it. Honorable members and indeed senators, processing the feedback, from the public on these defections, and why the seeming insensitivity to the appropriateness of it?
Thank you, Bukola. I think what is really happening right now, I think there is this disconnect and with the representatives and the people we represent. If you check very well, you will find out that the people we represent at our constituency and the deflections are not so much in harmony, because somehow you find out that even some of the people that have deflected, their constituents are not in line with the deflections. But what I want to project forward is that democracy entails having the really alignment with the people you represent and also speaking on their behalf. And this means that your expression and what you voice or what you represent resonate with what they think. But recently, if you check very well, you find out that most of these deflections are somehow not really connected with the people that they represent, or there is this disconnect between them and the people they represent. But I want to say that for democracy to flourish and be very effective, be able to also represent the interests of our people, there is this need for us to always work with what our people think will work better. And if we do that, that will give us the advantage of providing the dividends of democracy for the people we represent.
Now, for the defections or the defection happening from the state level, and we can immediately cite Delta State in this instance, a lot of talk is to the effect that the ruling party has weaponized the EFCC, to compel this defection, particularly with the case of the former governor. But for the case of National Assembly members, what are you hearing? And that's, in the realm of allegation, by the way. What are you hearing in the case of National Assembly members? Why this mass defection? What is being dangled? Or are there threats as well? Or is it the fact that, they're trying to secure their election, in their re-election in 2027?
Thank you, Buka. I want to say that some of this deflation has alignment, because you understand better that in the context of Nigerian democracy, most of the representatives and the senators, the representative at every level, has one way or the other in line with, shall I say, their stakeholders and their partners that they do the politics all together. And if you check what is happening right now, you will agree with me that some of the deflation, most especially at the House of Representatives level, has some alignment with stakeholders that they believe in, and some also has alignment with local, as I said earlier, politics is local. So maybe some of this alignment also has to do with the context, the locality where individuals are coming from, and they feel that the better alliance, the better chances for them to be able to maybe win the next election, or maybe to attract development to their constituencies and others. So the reasons and the motivation can vary from one place to another, but at the House of Representatives level, I believe that from the discussion that have been going on the ground is that some are deflecting due to the local politics in their area. Some are deflecting because there is a disconnect between them, and so many other reasons that I may not be able to factor all, but I believe that most of the deflections are reflecting what happens in their locality. But just to put it across, that I think time have come that Nigeria have begin to see that for us to strengthen democracy and to grow our democracy, there is this need for us to have an ideology. This ideology must represent the interests of our people. And both the ruling and the opposition party must understand that we are all partners in making Nigeria better. Therefore, we must strengthen the way we do our politics, the way our democracy can move. Because if we don't have any ideology attached to what we are doing, that it means that it will be difficult for us to hold even leaders accountable. Because these deflections can and will weaken sort of what is happening in the opposition.
Right.
It can make it very weak in such that it doesn't have that cohesion to hold even the ruling party accountable to the interests of the masses. And therefore, I feel that there is this need for us to reflect deeper and see how we can reposition our democracy and ensure that our democracy represents the interests of the masses and interests of our people.
Well, Honorable, you are the only PDP lawmaker in Borno State. Others are from the ruling APC. So should we be surprised if you then choose to join the APC?
Kayode, thank you for this. I want to put it to you that, just as I put it earlier, that democracy has, you have to look at the context, you have to look at the locality where you're coming from. And being the only PDP in Borno State has given me that kind of motivation that your people are interested in what you do, how you represent them, and what you attract for your constituency. But however, I want to say that my interest here is to be able to attract development for my people and to be able to be the voice that the people count on. My election was one of election that you will agree with me that the people have really put in their best. And that's why somehow they call me the people's mandate, because the people take out all their time to ensure that I come here. So my participation in democracy depends entirely on the interests of the people. So I can only resonate and also work entirely directly with what my people want. If my people feel that we can do better things ahead, then we will look at it and look at the angle that we can realign and align. But I want to tell you that with what is happening in Nigeria, we are taking time to strategically look at what is happening and look at what are the best approach to come with. But we must make sure that the interests of our people supersede any other interests. And any direction we are to take will entail that this is the direction that our people want, and this is the direction that we can be able to achieve the aim of providing equality and inclusive representation for our people. Of course, the political party that once will have to achieve this aim does not mean much, but it entails what do we have for our people and how can we make sure that we deliver what our people want.
So if the political party doesn't mean much, that means that you're saying that really ideology is not a thing. All the political parties probably have the same ideology, but I'm interested in what the APC may be promising you. Are they promising you re-election? Is it more projects? Is it more visibility in that sense, or is it a bigger position? What are the things that the APC has placed on the table that is making you consider, you and the people now, because I know you added the people?
So, thank you, Kayode. Sorry. Earlier I said what we need to do is to have a strong party of ideology. And at this stage of our democracy, I don't want to rush to say that we don't have people that believe in ideology. But I said that you have to connect to the locality, to the context. If my people are interested in the representations that we have provided and we want to forge ahead, we will have to look at it. What is the best approach to be able to work out this? And for me, I think the ruling party does not necessarily have to put anything on the page, but I'm looking at it that deep down my people prefer being in a line that can provide also room to be able to provide that representation without hindrance. And there's no this conversation on table. There's no conversation on table what for the political, the ruling party to provide anything on the table for us. We are talking with our people in our locality, and I think if I get their voice very clear, the voice is that we should look at bigger things, something big that we think that Nigerian interests can be protected much better. And that is what we stand for.
Honorable Balami,
rush. Yes.
It looks like you're avoiding, and I understand. It looks like you're not trying to answer my question while trying to answer it at the same time. But you've said it. If your people say join the APC, you will join the APC, right? So speak to us about that potential. Should we be surprised if and when you join the APC? When should we be expecting it? Is it something you're keeping close to the election period, or you want to give yourself time? That's really the question. Should we be surprised, or you're not considering it at all?
So if you are aware of the trend and all that has been happening, you will find out that the PDP, where I belong to, is trying to reject the party and are trying to work out modality to make sure that the PDP come out very, very, very strong.
Yeah.
And beside that, you also look at it that there are options of coalitions where every parties are trying to come together also to provide a platform. So I'm trying to put it on a ground that you should understand that there are many platforms that we can achieve our interests with our people. So when I said my people would decide, I did not intend to say that we are looking at what the ruling party or what others. But I believe that having won on the platform of opposition and looking at how the feelings of my people, I believe that they want something bigger that represent the yearning and aspiration of Nigerians. I want to tell you that if the ruling party have performed very well today, you will see that most of these deflections would reflect some level of joy and happiness in the constituency. But sometimes you see people deflecting to the ruling party, and when you look at the locality they are coming from, that happiness or that kind of feelings that when people deflected, that comes with is not there, and it's not. It is not resonating. It's not a kind of showing that the people are so much happy that their representatives have deflected. So for me, it's the way you see it, but the way I see it is that we stand with the PDP for now, and then we look at what are the options that are coming, but something big that we believe that will represent the interests of our people is the direction that we are going to take. And that direction will speak for itself when the time comes. And when the times come, we will have that consultation with our people. We came based on a ground that our people sent us here to represent them. And what we have been doing is to listen and work based on what they want. And for that reason, we will have that consultation. We continue to work with our people to say that these are what we have seen, what do you think will work better for us in our locality? And definitely we are going to take that direction. And when we take that direction, we will ensure that if our people stand on the ground that says PDP is repositioning itself, and we feel that the PDP still stand firm to deliver our mandate, then we go with the PDP. If the people find out that there's a better voice that will come up for Nigeria and we feel that we should go there, then we'll be there. But for me, I am not an individual that so much believe. I think my spirit aligns more with being an opposition, because sometimes when you are an opposition, you are training to strengthen democracy, and we should see ourselves that way, that we are partners in democracy. An opposition, a representative in the opposition parties and the people in the ruling party, we should see ourselves as partners. And in fact, in some clients, people are encouraged to even be in the opposition because we want to hold the ruling party accountable for Nigerians and ensure that things are done to the interests of the masses.
So, Honorable Balami, you have said two things. If your people consider, that you should, field your interests through another party, that then you would. But then you have also said that those who are defecting, one thing is absent from their defection, that is joy, and that impacts on, the performance of the ruling party. I'm just wondering if your tune will not change to a performing ruling party by the time that you defect, if your people decide that you defect. I'm just, wondering. But talk to us about something that is more critical, Honorable Balami, and that is the thinning out of opposition. Already, the National Assembly suffers an image of one that is a rubber stamp of the executive, and now we're witnessing this round of defections, endless seemingly. One will not be surprised if there's another round of defections by next week. Are you worried as a member of the opposition about the impact on this, on legislations, critical legislations that will impact on the people and that may sail through, albeit negatively, because there is no strong opposition?
Bukola, thank you so much for the opportunity again. But just to maybe make this better, for me, earlier I tried to position that the deflections are not reflecting and people are not happy, because for me it's not even a priority. If you look at the critical stage in Nigeria is passing through, the insecurity, the killings, the hunger, the poverty, the lack of social amenities and others. Young people are out there without job. I think these are the priorities that we should put on table. But because of the way we play our democracy, all these things that are supposed to be an area of concern, because this is the time for governance, instead of us to put that priority there, somehow along the line, our people have shifted that priority and now moved to an area of politicking, thinking of deflecting from one party to another. And that is why you see us where we are today. And for me, I want to tell you categorically that I stand with Nigerians. I stand with the masses as a young person. I also stand with the youth out there that are unemployed, people that are looking for a source of livelihood. And that is where my alignment is. But let me put it also that despite these deflections, if you look at the role of legislators, you agree with me that the deflection may not be able to affect legislative activity in the House, because we have come to a time whereby legislators cannot, your political party that you belong to cannot hinder you to project the interests of our people. I can tell you that being an opposition from Borno State has not stopped me to move almost about 8 bills and many other motions that reflect the interests of my people in my constituency and also the interests of Nigerians. So for that reason, there is framework of accountability that we can work out, and we are working through that can still deliver the dividends of democracy despite the deflections and what has been happening recently.
But Honorable Balami,
Bukola, to be sincere,
hold on there.
if it is narrowed down.
Pardon me there. We have not heard the voice of opposition when the executive presented, supplementary budget. We have not heard the voice of opposition when there were requests for, the obtainment of loans. We have not heard the voice of opposition on other critical issues that the opposition should have, registered its dissatisfaction or displeasure or spoken on the consequences, of actions taken by the executive. So I'm trying to understand you when you say that it will not impact on presentation of bills. It goes beyond presentation of bills to issues of national scale like appropriations.
So let me put it this way, that the voice have always been there, but as you are already aware, sometimes the minority always have their voice, but the majority, they find a way to have their way. But that does not mean that they were not checked and balanced. In most of some of the request for loan and then the request for supplementary and others, it has always gone through a vigorous debate. And most times it has to go through voting processes that have given advantage to the ruling party. But I want to tell you that the opposition party members have been doing their best somehow. But as you said, I will want to acknowledge too that the opposition have recently been very weak. And some of the reasons why the opposition have been weak have to, if you trace it, you look at it that far back, even when the House was constituted, there a lot of struggle for us to reposition the opposition to be able to provide that opposition that Nigeria wants. But I will tell you that a lot of work is undergoing, and we are working among ourselves to see how can we reposition and put the opposition on the right pedestal to be able to provide that opposition that Nigerians want. And that will have to provide that check and balances where you see that the opposition lawmakers will be able to stand with what Nigeria want and continue to struggle to defend the interests of the masses and the yearning of the masses. That will be an area that we will continue to strengthen. But as you rightly put it, I want to acknowledge that opposition recently have been very weak. And this will, maybe this is also in line with the deflections we have earlier talked about. But we that are still remaining, we will continue to talk and continue to see how we can strengthen the opposition. But I will tell you that before the election, Nigeria will find a way to come up with opposition that can provide that robust or role of opposition that Nigeria really deserves.
Well, at this rate, with the defections, maybe we'll have to look for an opposition within the APC, maybe have a little wing, because as has been said time and again, opposition is thinning out. But let's speak about one of the outcomes of governance and why we need to have a vibrant opposition to provide alternative policy ideas to put the government's feet to fire. Your area, Borno State, where you're from, has been under serious attacks of late from terrorists. In fact, I remember, I think it was last year that you moved a motion in the House of Reps about students in your area who couldn't write examinations as a result of security threats. So last week there was an attack in Marte. The week before it was in Gwoza, and we've seen attacks here and there, soldiers, our military being at the receiving end, security operatives at the receiving end, even the vigilantes also at the receiving end, and the people as well. So what exactly is going on in Borno State? Is government soft peddling? Has it been caught unawares? What exactly is playing out? Because you need to speak to these issues as well, as you have.
Yeah. Thank you, Kayode, for this opportunity. I want to say that it's a great honor, and if you check very well, you hear me saying earlier that for me, Midala Usman Balami representing Askira Ubaha Federal Constituency, the priority shouldn't have been about deflection. Our priority now in Nigeria should have been more focused on the fighting the insecurity addressing the gap of unemployment and the social amenities that are not there for our people. Last year, we shouted for, most especially for people of Dile, Musa, and others who could not write JAM and others. And thankfully, let me take this opportunity to appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulu, for working assiduously and in collaboration with the stakeholders at the national level. That centers for JAM have already been established, as I canvassed for it last time. Now the JAM Center, WIAC Center have been established in Dile and Musa and Lassa, those zones that were prevented from having that JAM Center. But let me say that the insecurity have been escalating, most especially in Borno State and Northeast in general, and this is a very worrisome situation. The executive governor of Borno State, if you recall, last time he sent a very strong appeal to the federal government saying that the situation of the insecurity is deteriorating and there is this need to rejig the security apparatus to ensure that we have not only just effective arms to fight the insurgents, but to ensure that we have a motivated personnel and with the required arms and logistics to be able to fight this insecurity. For me, I think these are the areas of the conversation that the narrative should be on. We should focus more on saving lives. And that is exactly the essence of government. The essence of government is to protect life and property. And if government have failed in this very fundamental constitutional responsibility, the government have to check itself that instead of focusing more on the win opposition makers to deflect to the party, why not deploy resources, deploy all that we require to make sure that the lives and property of our people is saved? This is what I call earlier, that the federal government should put more focus and more attention, support what the state government, most especially Borno State government, is doing to be able to curtail the escalation of this insurgents. You will agree with me that our people are really suffering. In all parts of Borno State now, what we hear almost every day is that the Boko Harams are now resurfacing and they are becoming stronger every day. They are overcoming military stations and taking over and killing a lot of our personals. I will call on the federal government to please support, deploy more security, maybe have more attention on the, and aside even from away from Borno State, you go to the northwest, in Sokoto, KB, Zamfara, and all places, you find out that the level of insecurity in Nigeria is becoming worrisome. So the federal government, instead of worrying and promising opposition lawmakers, they should put their resources out there and all the necessary apparatus and all that we require in terms of logistics to be able to fight these insurgents and then the insurgencies and the insecurity across Nigeria. Let's first of all settle and make Nigeria working better. Then we can, maybe by next year or so, when the times is right, then we can talk about politicking. But for now, let's put the attention of providing equality, good governance that will ensure that our people are alive and their property is protected and nobody feel that you are far away or you remain an IDP in your country, but you have that sense of belonging, that you have a governance, you have government that protects you, government that provide that fine first line of constitutional responsibility of ensuring that you are alive and nothing touch you in your country. I think, Kayode, this is the area the federal government should be focusing more on it, and they should be talking with all the state government and other stakeholders to ensure that we have a country, first of all, in place before we can talk about politicking.
Is this a failing of security? Is this a failing of intelligence? Is this just the insurgents getting more powerful? Because where they're using drones now, is there an international angle to this? Maybe let's have better insight. So again, Nigerians will know how to approach this in terms of putting pressure on governments, even supplying intelligence and all of that.
Thank you, Kyle. I think there is a lot to be done in terms of intelligence gathering and in terms of how our team should work together, provide that kind of harmonization across the military, the police, the army, the navy, and all of that. I think that there is this need to have that level of collaboration and harmonizations that we have to work closely. And you will agree with me that if you look at where the insecurity, the insurgents are brewing and are becoming stronger, it has to do with our borders. So there is this need for Nigeria to actually also collaborate with our bordering countries. I think there is that need for us to have that strong level of collaboration, because in the past, when that level of collaboration is very cohesive, it's become very difficult for the insurgents to strengthen themselves. But recently, you find out that our collaboration with Chad, Niger, other bordering countries that in the past have been supporting very well has been weakened, and that is that need for us to revisit that area, find way where we can have those very strong collaborations, have a very effective way of intelligence gathering, and we have to be able to fast track those. If you have even intelligence gathering, that level of communication among our different, the army, the navy, and all of that has to be strengthened, so that we'll be able to really address this issue of insurgence. Because for me, what I see that the gap there is there is high need for us to have a kind of more support to our military personnel out there, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, and all of that. They need to have more in terms of, should I put it, logistic support and resources to be able to have technologically advanced armory that will be able to fight these insurgents. If the insurgents have now begun to use drone, then we as a country should have more sophisticated drones that can be deployed, that will reduce the loss of lives of our personnel, but we will also be able to now put up the fight using sophisticated drones that can go down deep to the enclave of the insurgents and be able to deal a big blow to the enclave. And I want to put it also that beside the kinetic approach, I say sometimes about there is this need for us to also begin to look at non-kinetic approach. And those non-kinetic approach has to do with providing opportunities for the unemployed young people out there to reduce available tools by the insurgents that they can recruit them at ease. We must empower our young people to have something to do, and that is where the role of government have come in to provide that which is needed for our people to be engaged and have source of livelihood to provide for their family, and will be unavailable for recruitment into any source of criminality or insurgents.
You know, Honorable Balami, you talk about kinetic approach. We could also ask the National Assembly, which has an oversight function, about why, you know, the armed forces do not have adequate equipment to fight insurgency if, you know, reports are to the effect from, you know, the battlefield that the insurgents have more sophisticated weapon than the armed forces. If those reports are anything to go by, because the National Assembly has oversight responsibility over the budget of the armed forces. Don't answer that. That's a bait for you to return to talk to us more about these issues. We must thank you so much, Dr. Midala Balami. He's the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Communications. Thank you so much, Honorable Balami, for your time and thoughts on the program. All right, from there, we'll relax on the tough issues and look at some other interesting subject matters that affect your heart. So stay with us, we'll be right back.
All right, let's talk about something everyone has experienced, probably still experiencing or will experience in the near future or distant future, and that's heartbreak. I say this advisedly because you hardly go through life without having a taste of either breakfast or otherwise. You look around, if it's relationship-wise, if it's writing examinations, if it's with governance, some even with their bank accounts, there's always some heartbreak here and there. So how do you heal from broken hearts? We have joining us, as you can see, Dr. Yusuf Harun, a medical practitioner, is known as Dr. Love. That's why he's all all red this morning. You're welcome to the program. It's good to have you again.
It's a pleasure. Good to have you too.
I don't know if doctors go through heartbreaks. Is this something you experience?
We remember this popular musician who said, last, everybody go chop breakfast. Everybody goes through heartbreak, including medical doctors.
Everybody.
Everybody, including doctors.
And it's almost a constant in life. I know you've had experiences, you've done certificate courses in psychiatry. As a doctor, you're always, aside prescription, there's always some sort of counseling happening every day. So what is your go-to if someone with heartbreak is sitting in front of you? Just imagine I'm a broken-hearted person or someone who's going through heartbreak or is trying to recover from it. How do you approach those issues? What are the things you help them to see such that they can heal from it?
Yes, Coyote, imagine in front of a patient or somebody you love, and this person has been diagnosed of a terminal illness like end-stage renal failure or liver cancer or colon cancer. And these are real-life examples I have seen as a doctor.
Yeah.
How will I break it to the person? I've also seen a case where I have to break it to somebody that the person is HIV positive. This is a heartbreak. Many of us only divert heartbreak to relationships, but there are over 10 different categories of heartbreak apart from relationships, what we go through. Look at the current trending issue in Nigeria about this JAMB. This is a heartbreak to hundreds of thousands of youths who have aspirations to study in the university. Even it was a heartbreak to the registrar of JAMB himself that he had to cry on television. So there are many things that cause heartbreak, and sometimes it is even more difficult for the person who is who has to break the news to the person who is involved about this kind of situation.
Absolutely. So walk us through step by step, because I'm seated in front of you. I'm obviously heartbroken as a result of something, and they always say that it's a person who's wearing the shoes that knows how it hurts or where it pinches. It's a saying where I'm from. So there's usually that feeling that first you don't know what I am going through. Whatever you're going to be saying is from a third party. You are not feeling my pain. So how do you come up from a place of empathy, from a place of respect as well, respecting the other person's emotions, but also helping them to ease out of this and see that first there is hope. You get there is more to do with life, and ultimately you can be better from this. So I want you to, I'm the heartbroken person hypothetically now.
So the best person to give this news is somebody who has full knowledge about it. So knowledge about it is very important. So I am the practitioner and I want to counsel you. Let's give an example. Maybe a grandparent is having a vegetative state, end stage kidney failure. The person has to be on dialysis for life, and you want to break this news to the grandson. So I have to meet you, Coyote. I know what this is. I have gone through this before. My late father was on dialysis until he passed away. This already brings a connection between you and I. Okay, everybody psychologically wants to be in the same boat with somebody.
Sure.
That's why even the devil, when he wanted to go into hell, he said he's going to take some people with him. Apart from that, even we human beings, we always get more comfort with somebody who has experienced something that we have also experienced.
Absolutely.
So I know how you feel, not just that I'm saying it. I have gone through it. Another example is a relationship, divorce, which is getting alarming in our society too, just like the Western world, which is very high. Okay, Kayode, I understand this relationship and things like that. I've also been in a relationship that didn't work. It wasn't my fault, it wasn't her fault, but things just didn't get along, and we have to move on, although we still communicate. So counseling, communication, admittance of this heartbreak is one of the main ways to go. So the most difficult people to counsel or to even approach, or the most difficult people that have these heartbreak issues, are those that don't even admit they have a heartbreak. So denial is one psychological problem some people have. When there's a bad news, when there's a heartbreak, they want to deny and say, no, nothing happened, no, no, no. But number one, you have to admit that there is a problem. Number two, you have to take time to heal. About this healing, my words cannot heal what is going on with you. Time is what will heal you. Just like a wound, if you sustain an injury, like a cut, no matter how much I talk to you, no matter how many medications I give you, no matter even if I have to stitch it or suture it, I still have to give you Kayode time to heal. So time is a factor that also heals heartbreak. That's number two. Number three again is we have to engage in other activities, a form of distraction or a form of diversion from the problem, so that you don't sit down all day, all years. Imagine someone mourning somebody he or she lost, or somebody mourning a relationship that didn't go well for years. That becomes a psychological problem, and it can relate in what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. In that kind of case, it can even go into what we call bipolar affective disorder, BPD, bipolar affective BAD. So we have to make sure that the heartbreak doesn't degenerate into a psychological problem. Kayode, I have seen somebody who ran mad from a heartbreak. The person literally went insane. Unfortunately, women are the ones who go through the trauma of heartbreak more. Men have a way of compensatory mechanism. And what do? They just go to drink alcohol, they smoke, or they do. I know of somebody, a man who lost his parents in an accident, car accident, and the person was really depressed. So what the person did was just to go and drink until he got drunk, and he and his friends went for the burial, drank and slept off and moved on. A woman won't really do that. So that's the difference between genders and heartbreak. A woman will cry, and that's number four again. Crying is a good form of therapy.
But before we go to number four, so you talked about divert your attention, and you mentioned some of the vices people then divert their attentions to, smoking, drinking, which is harmful, right? So what are the more constructive diversions in that sense, where you can put all that energy into and get your mind off it? Because if you go to drinking, smoking, it usually ends up even worse most times.
Admittance, number one. Two, crying. Number three, also being in the midst of people who can share your empathy. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy. Yeah. People who know how you feel. I feel your pain. Being with them. Number four, try and be active. Being idle or sedentary will only worsen it and make you think more. As humans, we shouldn't just be thinking all the time. We should be active. Exercise. Go out. That is why in different cultures and customs, there are periods of time you should mourn if you lose somebody or if you are having a heartbreak. Some will say a few days, some go to months. But it's abnormal when you are mourning or doing something for years. It's not. Another thing, again, some people do is music. They listen to music and it cools their soul, it relaxes them. That could still be better. Exercise is also better. Some people, I know of a lady in the US, in Ohio, when I was there, she said when she has a heartbreak, she goes shopping. And she just buys anything she wants, and she eats, and she transfers all her stress and anger on chewing something very hard and breaking it and swallowing it and taking more of glucose and things like that. So number five, again, know how you are going to cope with your own heartbreak. We all have different kinds of skin in a figurative way. Some people have a thick skin. Some people have a very thin skin. Some people compensate in different ways. That's why some people can tolerate higher than others. So know yourself, that is number six, and know how you can cope with this heartbreak. Basically, everybody goes through heartbreak.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
How close are we, and this is me just, asking on the line, how close are we to getting the medication for heartbreak? Is that something that will ever happen?
There are some medications that could relieve your heartbreak. For example, some patients are given something like even diazepam, which we call Valium. to sedate them when they are under stress, because these are part of the psychosomatic features of heartbreak. The person starts to have insomnia, sleeplessness. The person starts to develop chest pain. Some may develop headache. Some people might even develop high blood pressure from the stress of the heartbreak. I cannot eat. Some people now develop ulcer because they cannot eat. They lose appetite. Some people have loss of appetite, anorexia, and different things. So what medical doctors do is that we can give them some medications to relieve. For example, if they are not eating, we can give them some medications to increase their appetite. They can be on multivitamins, B-co that will increase. Some of them are not sleeping. They can be on diazepam. There are some other drugs, phenobarbital. There are some medications you can give.
Or prescription only.
Prescriptions only. And the best treatment or best prescription is still yourself.
Absolutely.
You're the one that has to still cope and get treatment.
And that's the point I'm coming to.
Stress.
Because it's what you do after the heartbreak, but it's what you can do before, almost like you're preparing for a potential heartbreak. And some have said, for example, you have people who are at the lower rung of the economic ladder in that sense, who seem very tough, and they can take anything. So heartbreak comes, brush it aside. In fact, someone was whispering to my ears that when you look at the divorce cases, that you sometimes find divorce for maybe middle to the upper class. For those at the lower classes,
that is true.
Till death does us part.
Absolutely.
Whether you are agreeing or not.
I agree with
so
you.
Almost like they have a thicker skin. So is there a way to prepare ahead, build your mental strength such that when or if heartbreak happens, you're prepared for it?
Kayode, you are absolutely right. In our society, people who are the lower strata tend to compensate more. And that is where, in medicine, we call something compensatory mechanism. For example, when the weather is hot, some people can adjust. They sweat and they can live in it. Some people cannot. Oh, it's too hot, because they have been used to a cold environment, like AC, fan. But some people who don't even have money to buy AC, they are in the heat, they don't even have light. You see that those people tend to cope with the stress and cope with, in quotes, heartbreak. That's why in Nigeria now, there was a time Nigeria was referred to as the happiest nation in the world. It's not that Nigerians are the wealthiest, but Nigerians have been able to cope with the stress, particularly in this era and this economy. People are coping more. In the US or in the Western world, many people will have committed suicide. But a research showed, confirmed, that the least people to commit suicide are the blacks, Africans, and the least again are women. But over there, it's reverse. They commit, even you see a wealthy man, like this popular actor who committed suicide. So there are many cases like that. But in Nigeria, we tend to cope with stress. So what I believe again is individual mechanism and individual's perception about life. We have been trained to cope with everything that goes. That's why even when they take light, and we were kids, and they bring the same lights, and we shout up NEPA, we're even happy to celebrate our own rights, something that we should not even be deprived of.
Almost like the society was preparing us for heartbreak.
In fact, you've summarized the whole topic today. It's like our society is preparing us for this heartbreak. That is just the reality, and that is why many people in Nigeria cope. And the good thing about it is that when we go to other parts of the world, we tend to thrive better, because a tree which is bearing to grow in a harsh weather, when you transfer that tree to a good weather, it grows and blossoms even better than others. You see a Nigerian who is having difficulty reading, maybe he or she has been having a series of heartbreaks or conditions that are not favorable. That same child goes to the US or UK or Canada and comes out with honors, distinction, and there are many stories of Nigerians doing the same way.
It's a lot to speak to about this, particularly what just happened with the UTME examinations and JAMB. Over 300,000 students will now have to rewrite it. That's still to say that 1.2 million scored below 200, because it's important to distinguish or differentiate between failing and scoring below 200. The fact that a lot of them scored below 200 is not failure, because last year the cutoff for universities was 140, right? Polytechnics was 90. But the point is that a lot of them scored below 200, and that naturally would affect them mentally. We were told, yes, of the girl that committed suicide, and just moments after it's reported that she got a provisional admission from JAMB after she committed suicide, according to the report. So the younger generation, as we have them now, how can parents, the guardians, and even themselves fortify themselves mentally? Because life is naturally tough. Life is going to throw all sorts at you. So we want our young people to be prepared. Yes, there was a glitch with JAM. It's been resolved. But that's not to say that a lot of them have been mentally traumatized already. So first, how to recover for young people and how to also equip our young people.
Kayode, the next generation after us, this Gen Z, and even those after them, they are more exposed to what we were not exposed at our time, the internet. So their training comes more from social media, comes from even countries which we haven't even been exposed to in our time. So this kind of lady, most likely she has watched or learned from social media or from other avenues that the best way to solve a problem is to commit suicide. Heartbreak even comes from sports. There was an Arsenal fan who lost the sport and he thought the best way to solve everything is to kill himself, to commit suicide. There was also a boy in Ghana. He found his girlfriend, not even his wife, dating girlfriend with another man, and he felt the best way is to commit suicide. So, unfortunately, Kayode, this society we are in now, the children are exposed to gadgets, to social media, to things which we were not. So, their society, and there's something we call, when you frame a society, we call something genetic makeup, and we call it also genetic composition. Like, what makes you a personality? What makes your personality? Is it
nature or nurture?
God bless you, nature or nurture. And this concept has been extensively dealt with. Two twins were taken from birth and separated into different environments, one in Africa, one in the West, and they grew up separately. Some things were similar in them. So heartbreak also could be a genetic makeup. Some things were similar even though they were in different environments, and some things were different because they were in different environments. So I believe it's the personality of these children. I also believe it's the environment, and not only their immediate environment, like you said, the parents training them. Many of them are getting training outside even what their family or parents or the society is teaching them. There are some things I hear from even kids, my kids, and I'm like,
where did you learn that from?
Where do you learn it from? So it's so interesting that this society now is moving towards a stage we didn't even get to. Now, how do we cope with it is still a big question, Kayode, that we have to answer.
I was hoping you'd help us answer a little bit.
Now, you see, some questions are not just answered on the table. They are questions that we have to continuously reform. For example, societal reforms, and now we are going into philosophy or into the society, is not just a day of reformation. Sometimes it takes a lifetime. These kids, we have to continuously encourage them. And Kayode, it's not only kids. Even when they become adults, when they are above 40, they still need continuous guidance. Everybody needs it. Continuous support. Even in parents, even in family, even in heartbreaks in marriage. Some of it, before it leads into divorce, even disappointment, we all need somebody, either a religious person, a pastor, an imam, that we can meet, that will sincerely counsel us, a guardian, a medical doctor. It could be a legal team. If we're having problem with our finances or with our company, we all need someone to guide us, someone we can ask sincere questions and will guide us aright.
I think that's a really great place to anchor. I'm glad you talked about getting help.
Right.
That's why there's a community, really. Nobody should be an island. So if you're going through stuff, you can always get help, if not from your religious leaders, who, by the way, do free counseling almost every day. It could be a counselor, a psychologist, psychiatrist. But the point is, get help. And I think ultimately, that's something to take away from this. But it's been a very interesting conversation we've had, talking about this very thorny issue of heartbreaks, emotional trauma. And as you referred to the singer who sang the Everybody Would Chop Breakfast, we actually should credit the original person who made that statement in a movie. His name is Taiwo Hassan.
Wow.
Yeah, he was one that actually made that statement in a movie. Then it became a trend. Then Burna Boy sang about it, and everybody said, well, let's credit it to Burna Boy. So we're crediting Taiwo Hassan for that.
That's good, absolutely. Awesome. And we should all know we are all having heartbreaks, everybody.
Somehow.
So we have to cope with it.
There you have it. Always a pleasure to speak with you. I know you're big online, so you're obviously going to continue this conversation on social media. Dr. Love, real name though, Dr. Yusuf Harun, medical practitioner. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to the next color of suit you wear in our next interview.
Yes, there was one I talked about, Heartbreak online, went viral, 1.2 million views. I talked about marriage, and I focused more on what women should do. So the women came at me more. And
you
I
want to
said,
apologize
okay.
to them?
So I want to say, women, you too, you can bring what men should do. You know, we men, we will tell you what we want from you. So you tell us what you want from us. When I posted one on men, it didn't go viral. So when you post more of women,
all right,
it gains more traction.
Dr. Love, thank you so
much.
Always a pleasure speaking with you.
It's a pleasure too.
We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we have a phenomenal Nigerian artist joining us. Her name, Bagetti. You don't want to miss this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, let's relax a little more, shall we? Especially with those beautiful tunes to serenade your soul. And we have the author of that great work right here in the studio. Let's welcome Bagetti, real name Ayomide Sanyolu. Good morning, Bagetti.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Morning Brief on Channels Television.
Thank you for having me.
I can't resist appreciating your fashion, especially the shoes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's start this way. Talk to us about your sound. How do you describe your sound?
Okay, so I describe my sound as authentic, as just an extension of my being, of myself. So I just like to talk about whatever it is I'm going through at whatever point. I like it. I like keeping it real. So yes. So it was weird having Dr. Love just leave the place. And I was like, okay, I should have had this therapy session way
back, right?
Yeah, because right now, I'm dealing with, but I'm getting out of it.
Like you have a lot of breakfast.
Yes,
you're dealing with
yes.
right now.
My last EP was just all about it. It was about breakfast.
Because I noticed with the line, everything where you do me, another person will do you times
100. Like, it was, nah. I did times 1 million, if I should have said that.
Inflation has climbed.
And you know, it's a form of therapy, really. You know, that expression helps to release, I imagine, does it?
Yeah, I would say so in a way. Sometimes just putting out the anger, yeah, it helps, but not completely though, because I will not lie. It really helps, yeah, but I had to deal with it, like, with other means.
But don't worry, Dr. Love is available, and so many other doctors.
I'm definitely coming out of it. Yes.
Which is why it's important to find an outlet.
Yes.
And you are doing it in grand style. Some of us sing in the bathroom. Some of us just sing when it's time for karaoke, but you are doing it
yes,
so
I
well.
take it straight to the booth.
Amazing. First, let me talk about your name, Bagetti.
Yes.
And I know you've answered this question quite a lot. Your name reminds me of baguette. That's the French bread.
The French
and then there's spaghetti.
Spaghetti, yeah.
So it's like baguette and spaghetti, and then comes together, and I'm thinking of food, but you named it after the baguette cut of diamonds.
Exactly.
Right, which is basically, it looks like baguette. That's why they call it baguette. It's like when you look at it in profile, it looks like a rectangle.
Exactly.
So it's quite interesting how you thought of that name, which means you're a gem.
Definitely, 100.
In that sense.
100, thank you very much.
So how is the industry handling this gem? Are you too much for the industry to handle?
Of course. But yeah, definitely. I bring my own style. I bring my own authenticity to the industry, and it's great so far. I've still been able to be myself authentically without no blemish. So yeah, basically, it's been great.
It's interesting you say that, because I know your journey, your dad playing a lot of music in the house. He was a choir leader, or he was in the choir.
Director, actually.
And then you joined the youth choir as well, and naturally you are a church girl.
Yes.
Always a church girl.
Church girl.
So how, again, are you maintaining the status quo while in the industry?
Wow. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, definitely. I still go to church when I can. I say when I can. It's not so often, but yeah, when I can.
But there's no more praise the Lord in your lyrics.
Oh my God. There are a couple of them, definitely, because God is a big part of everything that I am. Right, so I always try to, there's some songs definitely that God is definitely at the center of it. There's a song called Done on the EP. Yeah. Definitely, I put it in there.
I deliberately asked about, your type of sound at the start, because though you're seen as Afrobeat, but there are a lot of influences there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I listen to Dawn, for instance, and I was, sensing a bit of reggae, influences there. So talk to us about some of the influences in your type of song that has, shaped Afrobeat out of it.
I would say my dad was actually a very big influence on my love for music. So he was a big music lover, right? So his genre had no bounds. What he listened to had no bounds. We could literally start from Ainde, Pasoma, and we'll end up with Phil Collins.
That's like two extremes.
Exactly. In the space of 30 minutes, it's just, it likes to soak in music. So I grew up on that. So I think that influenced my type of music, right? I like to fuse sounds a lot. So if you hear me singing Fuji, don't be shocked.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got signed onto Jones in World.
Yes,
and you're the
correct.
first female artist on Jones in World.
Correct.
Tell us how you landed that.
I have no idea how I landed that. If I'm being honest, it was just like God. It was from nowhere, because I personally didn't like do the approaching, right? So it was the producer I was working with at the time. His name is Wizard. He just called me out of the blues and was like, the Prince of Jones and World says to come to his office. I'm like, from where to where? Like,
just like that, right?
Just like that, like how, where, how did he know about my existence? And it was just on from there. I went to his office. He loved the sound, and we just started magic.
Just like that?
Just like that.
I know a lot of people will be using your own, experience as, is it point of contact now? When they're praying, say, Lord, you did it.
Yeah.
Bagetti, let my helper find me. But how has it been, really? Because the industry is always particular about female acts.
Yes.
Again, maybe their expectations, they want to put you in a certain box and say, this is how.
I would say for all artists, and whatever kind of art it is that you might make, people just naturally
they have that mental picture of what you should be.
Exactly.
So how, again, are you trying to work around that? Because, again, your fans have expectations. So they're like, Bagetti, we want you to sound like this person. I don't want to mention names, right? We want you to sound like this person because this person just won this or was nominated on this. Or we need you to dress like that person. Okay, so keep it a bit short and all of that. So
show a little flesh.
How do you do the whole, okay, I'll give you what you want, but I also need to maintain my originality?
Yeah, actually, all these things now depends on how strong you are emotionally and what your principles are. That's where it comes to play, right? So yeah, definitely you can adopt some opinions that you feel like, okay, fine, this doesn't break me or any
it aligns with who I am.
It aligns with who I am. And then, yeah, I can adopt that. But anything that's crossing that, no.
And we hope that you stay strong through the journey. Speaking of the industry, sometimes also, more of the times, the conversation is about how prepared the artist or the artists are for the challenges in the industry, should in case the relationships go sour, and the business of music rather than just the artistry of music itself. So would you say that you have fully equipped yourself for the challenges ahead, such that there are no stories that touch somewhere down the line?
I would say yeah, definitely, because it's been a while. It's been a long time coming, actually, from my artistry development to learning about the business and all of that. So yeah, I'm definitely equipped for it. There's nothing that can shock me. First of all, I'm in Nigeria, so Nothing can shock me.
I love that. I love that. There's this question that has been dancing around in my head because you're signed to Jones and World.
Yeah.
It's been a year now, a year plus.
Yes.
Right. We'll talk about what to expect in the coming weeks. But,
all right.
you know, so you have the Prince with Jones and World. You have Don Jazzy with Maven, their family.
Yeah.
Right. So there's the mental picture a lot of people have is this is Jones and World, record label. Next door is Maven. So maybe the arts, you just come out and say, hi, Rema, how far are you doing? We're not working. So is there like that cross, that relationship? Does that happen?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's cool. Everyone's like really, really cool. So, yeah, it's family.
But it's not next door, Sha.
It's not next door.
You don't go to borrow matches or borrow microphone.
It's not next door.
It's not next door. But how does that work for you? Because a lot of young people will say, well, I want to go my own. I want to be indie. Because these record labels have a way of just stifling you. God bless you if you find a good record label, right? And you find one that is able to put you out there, helps you to express yourself. But a lot of young people, particularly from the experiences, will say, well, I don't want to do record label. I will use social media. I will do my thing, keep promoting my music till I get there. We've seen a lot of people who were able to do that and succeeded. So what does the record label bring to the table for you? Why did you decide to go that route? And what does the future look like?
Okay, so record labels, they're a system, they're meant to help artists make their journey a little bit faster, right? Help them with envisioning their dreams, right, and bringing it to reality way faster, especially funding-wise, say, connection-wise, right? So if you're indie, at some point, you might not have the cash, right? You might not have the cash, and I'm sure, of course, there are different stories. Some people, it goes well with their record labels, and some people it doesn't, right? So even indie, if you decide that, okay, you want to be indie and then you did not still blow, and then there's probably a couple of opportunities for you that you could have tapped into, right? But just because, I don't want anybody to cheat me, right? That's the mentality, I guess. I don't want anybody to cheat me. And then
So it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street.
With the deal with the record labels being more profitable.
Yes.
So you would say that you've got a good deal with Jones and World. All right. Speaking of collaborations, Karadi just alluded to collaborations. I'm sure that, some have said, Bagetti sings like this person, she dresses like this person. Which of those, divas up there do you aspire to work with? Or have you heard anyone say, she sings like this, I love her, she's like that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard a couple. I've heard different, and sometimes I'm shocked at the names that I hear.
Let's hear some of them.
One time I heard I sound like Aretha Franklin, and I'm like, are you serious?
That's good.
But
I was expecting to hear Tiwa.
But me too. Like the kind of music I make. But then
I get the point. Like that's very, very far.
Yeah, that's very, very far. But then I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And then there's Tiwa Savage. I heard that. I've heard Rihanna. So you do
have that voice texture that is very unique. I must say, it just makes you turn like, who's singing there? So what are we expecting from Bagetti? Okay,
so Bagetti is fully rounding the healing circle right now. So I'm in
We're happy for you.
Thank you very much. I'm in a much lighter headspace. No more drama. Do you times 100.
Right.
I'm finding peace. I'm finding love again. And basically, that is the kind of music you should be expecting.
Is it an EP? Is it an album? Is it a tour? Is it a music video? Is it a... I need to get something from you, Bagetti.
It's a series.
It's a series?
Yes.
Like, that's new. I thought you were going to say an EP or a series of songs and videos.
Series, yes.
When is this series landing? When is it starting?
You're gonna have to hold on that.
Perhaps one of the songs could be paying tribute to the new love.
Definitely.
Oh.
Definitely.
Oh, there's a new love now. There's a new love now.
Yeah, it's not serious yet,
complicated.
but yeah.
Okay,
I
so
suspect she's the one serving the breakfast, because now she
I?
feels like the one receiving the breakfast. Maybe you're the one serving it.
I'm not.
Are you sure?
I promise.
Can we trust you on that
I
one?
promise. I promise.
Okay, so let's hear that soulful voice just before we wrap up.
All right. It's a new dawn, the author of day. Mark these words I say. Now big does not come out to play in a new type of way. I'm talking of a new dawn. You hear my name, my name.
Oh,
I love the way you
beautiful.
fry it. It's very crispy.
And I love the way the voice just caresses you, you know. You're so beautiful.
Okay.
Bagetti, thank you for honoring us and serenading
Thank
us
you
with
for
your
having
warm
me. Thank you
personality
for having
and
me.
voice. And wish you all of the luck in the world
Thank
and your
you so
name in
much.
bright lights, especially on the international scene. We've been talking with Afrobeat singer Bagetti, real name Ayomide Sanyolu. Thank you for your time
Thank you for having
on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, there's more to come. This time we're going to be relaxing a bit more with yoga. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
As we strive to build a nation, it's important to build our bodies, our mind, and our mental capacity. So this morning, we're diving straight into yoga. I say we, because I'm going to also partake in something. And we have joining us today, the women, they are ready for the yoga thing, which will be beautiful to watch. We have joining us again, Mofolúṣadé Ṣónáìkè, yoga instructor, principal partner, Mompreneur Women Support Initiative, and convener, Kick-Ass Moms Community. Good morning, Mofolúṣadé. And right next to her is Modupe. So double Mos. Modupe never do. So we need to build our minds. We need to strengthen our minds. We need to, shut out all of the noise, right? So I'm just going to be here providing all of the support and motivation. But what do you have for us today, Mofolúṣadé?
Cardi has escaped.
No, I'm cheering you on.
Well, you're not escaping next week.
Do this.
Right, so today we're going to be focusing on balancing poses, which are very good for not just working your body, but also your mind. Focus, resilience, pushing through challenging poses, and then we'll go into grounding poses that also target every single muscle group in your body. All right, so
Beautiful.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so we'll start with what we call the eagle pose. All right, so now first of all, you bring your feet to touch.
Together.
Yes.
We did this last week.
Everything together. Yeah, so you bring your hands out into a T. Let me just stagger this so that we're not, so into a T. The first thing you want to do is you want to bring your right hand under the left, right in front of you, shoulder level, and then wrap it around till your hands touch. They may or they may not touch, it's fine.
Okay.
And then you push your hips to the back and come into a gentle squat. Now, ground yourself by pressing into your left foot. Lift the right and wrap it around. And we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come out of it gently and relax. So we go to the left side.
Okay.
Same thing. Bring your feet together. Hug your belly in. Remember we say yes, and keep your chest up. Right? Open up your hands out into a T. This time you bring the left hand under the right. Wrap it around.
Under the right.
Yes.
Okay.
Push your hips back. Come into a gentle squat. Imagine you're on your chair. Press into your right foot and then lift your left leg. Wrap it around. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come out of it gently. That's the eagle pose. So the next one we're going to do is a standing leg raise. So for this, same thing. We take our form, ground yourself, make sure your feet are facing forward.
Okay.
Place your left hand on your waist. All right, and then just lift your right leg. Hold it there. And then you bring your right hand, gently place it in your inner thigh and push. So you're opening this out to the side. Open. With a smile, if you can, extend your left hand out to the side, palm facing down. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently roll it back in and drop. Now we go to the other side. So you place your right hand on your waist.
Right hand on the waist.
Yes.
Okay.
Lift your left leg. Hold it there. And then with your left hand, gently place in your inner thigh and support it. No pressure. Just gently push.
Okay.
Push it open.
Modupe is doing it with such grace and ease. I'm falling down already.
It's part of it. That's why I'm
a yoga instructor.
So find something to focus on. That helps, okay?
All right.
And then open up your right hand. Extend. Palm facing down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center.
Gently.
Gently.
Right? Okay. I'm enjoying this. Better than last week.
Yes, I know.
It's easier than last week.
So
your mind is well prepared for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one we'll do is called the dancer's pose. All right. So for this, same thing. You ground yourself, chest up. Lift up your right leg. So we're starting from the right, right? And then you take it to the back. Grab your ankle from the inside.
Ankle.
Yes, your ankle.
Okay.
All right? As you take your legs up, you lean forward.
You lean forward.
And just imagine you're pressing into a wall in front of you.
Okay.
You lift.
You apply the pressure even if the wall is imaginary.
5.
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1. Come out gently. Gently.
Okay, you don't drop the leg.
Now
okay, then you drop.
Yes. Easy. So we're going to the left side. Yes, so this is a balancing sequence. It just calms you down and brings you into focus. So the next one, we're going to the left leg.
Expands your mental resilience, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely. So for the so we'll do it on the left side as well. So left side, you take your left leg up.
Left leg up.
Push it to the back.
Push it to the
Grab
back.
the ankle from inside.
Grab the ankle.
As you lift, press into that imaginary wall. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center and drop.
Gently. I hope you're joining us. Of course, advisedly, we must add.
Yes.
This is really, really healthy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's calming your mind.
Not just for the bones,
training your
but also
brain.
for the mind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Inexplicably so.
The last balancing pose we'll be doing is called the tree pose.
Okay.
So in this case, there are 2 levels. So you can either place your foot below your knee or all the way up above your knee. So in
all
your
the way
thigh.
up.
But no brownie points for wherever it is, okay? Because it can be challenging. So it's always advisable to start here.
Okay.
Because what you want to focus on is opening. So you're opening your thigh to the side.
Okay.
So your knee is pointing to the other wall, and then you hold. Okay? So that's it. So we do triples on the right side. Okay? Place your foot on the inner side on the inner shin of your left leg and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Iconic pose.
Drop.
I'm about to fall down.
So let's go to the left side. Take your left leg.
Okay, the left leg
up.
now.
Yes. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
I'm getting good at this.
Yes, you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it now.
So you can come out of the pose. Let's move your legs. And then we take our hands to the side, sweep up to mountain pose. We did this last week.
Okay, so that was the tree pose we just did.
Yes, that's the tree pose.
Okay.
So forward fold, push your hips back, drop, halfway lift, palms facing each other. Now drop your palms on the mat, step your feet back.
Drop your palms on the mat.
Step your feet back,
Step
high
your feet
plank.
back.
Low plank.
I'm falling now.
Upward facing dog. And then you push your hips back towards the
Push your hips back.
Facing dog. So this is it's a pose that leads into, it's called the vinyasa. This flow leads into a different sequence, okay? So here we're going to do the grounding poses I talked about. So the first one is triangle pose. So you take your right foot, leg, step it all the way to the front. You can align it with the edge of the mat.
Okay.
Yes, good job.
Yeah.
Now the left foot, align to the edge of the mat, but it's your heel this time.
Okay.
Pointing to the edge. So turn your heel. Good job. Now lengthen.
Lengthen.
Yeah, good job. Come up.
Come up.
Take your hands out into a T. And just lean towards the side. Yes.
Yeah.
So lean to the side. I
Your
think
right
you're trying to
side.
grab to your right side.
To the right side.
I think you're trying to grab something.
Okay.
All right. And once you've gotten to the end of that, just lean back and bend down towards your foot.
Bend towards the foot.
And then align by stretching the other hand.
Okay. Up, all the way up.
Yes.
Kade, you are
Make sure
missing.
that Okay, so this is it.
Okay.
Here, keep this leg straight.
Straight.
Yes. So that's it. So you can place it here.
All right.
Challenge, yeah. And then, good.
All right.
Look up.
Yeah.
Aha. There you go. Now from there, come up. So you're just lifting yourself up, back up, come up. Your hands back in a T.
This way.
Yes.
Wow.
Now turn your right foot out to face the same way that your left leg is turning.
My right.
So turn your foot out.
Out.
Yes.
Like this.
There you go. There
Brilliant.
You go. Now take your hands to the back.
To the back.
Interlace your fingers.
All right.
Good. And now we're going to lean forward. Okay? So push your hips back and just lean forward. As you lean forward, your hands go up, up,
All the way up.
all the way up. Full stretch. Good job. Now to come out of this, release the hands, place them gently on your lower back to support you as you come up gently.
Okay.
Gently, gently. Ah, you can sigh. That's part of it. Great. Now we're going to come back. Turn your right foot back forward. So turn the right foot forward again. So your right foot
Forward.
Yes. Let it face the front of the room.
Okay.
Right foot.
Right foot.
Yes.
Okay. This way.
No. To the front of the room.
Okay.
Great. And then you bring your left leg in a bit. So you want to come into a short warrior stance. So bring it in. In. Good. In. Not fully, but there should be a bit of a
All right.
short distance. You can take it, step it back a bit more.
Okay.
Good. And we're going to do what is called the pyramid pose. So here you are. Just move, lean forward and back to find that you are well grounded and you're not, so there's balance.
Lean forward.
Yes, just
And then
rock,
back.
rock forward and back.
Lean forward.
Just to check that
Okay.
you're properly grounded. And now what you want to do is you want to lean forward and bring your nose to your knee. If it doesn't get there, it's fine. But that is the intention. So just go as far as your body.
Sounds like you asked me to climb Mount Everest. But I'll try all the same.
Yeah, so just go
Okay.
and hold. Now from here, you can just step up a bit, look forward, and bring your left hand to the outside of your right foot.
Left
This is called
hand to
revolving-
the outside of the right
Exactly.
foot. Okay.
Turn your body out and stretch your hand towards the ceiling. Smile.
Smile. No, my face is all covered.
Now bring your hands down.
Down.
Step your palms to the mat.
Palms to
Step
the
your
mat.
feet back. We're going to high plank.
Both feet, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The same high plank. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. You know, I said this is the pose that just leads you into the next step. So we've done the right side. Now we're going to repeat all of that on the left side. So step your left leg to the front of the mat, aligning it
Step
with
your
the edge.
Left leg.
Good job.
Okay.
Now turn your heel To align it also with the edge of the mat, just where your same line with where your right foot is. Now, length, come up.
Come up.
Lengthen the right.
Lengthen.
Stretch.
Stretch.
Good. Bring your hands out into a T.
T.
So lean forward as if you're trying to reach for something. And then once you've gotten to the end, you can just come, bring your hands down, open, and stretch. Wow. Now let's come back up.
If you haven't joined us on this, you have missed quite a lot, including somebody I know very well. His name is Kayode. This has been very, very calming, and
I'm joining.
it's a body science, as PoliticsToday has described it.
Yes.
Very calming effect on the body.
I feel so calm right now.
Yeah.
Now interlace your fingers behind.
Oh, there you go. That way.
And then lean forward. As you lean forward, your hands go up.
Ah, that way. It feels so great.
Forward. Awesome.
Wow.
Release your hands, place them on your lower back.
Okay, there's more.
Gently come back.
That's... Ladies and gentlemen, what a day.
I was just bringing it.
Well, I feel so relieved.
You didn't get the cumulative effect, Kayode.
Says
It's
who?
the cumulative effect.
You only did a little bit.
That does the
You
work
didn't see me
on
behind
your
you.
body.
Exactly. You know how I feel right now? I feel so great.
You were seated all along.
I was seated physically, but my mind
Your mind was working.
Mufojishade, Shonaike, and Mudukwe Nebedum, thank you for helping us distress.
Yeah.
I think what you do is really amazing.
Really
and we're
amazing.
grateful that we
It's
have
simple,
this kind of
but it's
outlet.
hard work.
So thank you so much for joining
you
us.
for having us.
We're going to continue after this, but what a show it has been today. And I must say that Yaga Africa has released a statement regarding that bill that is seeking to make voting compulsory in Nigeria. But Yaga Africa unequivocally rejects that proposed bill under consideration, saying that the right to abstain from voting is itself a legitimate form of political expression protected under domestic and international human rights. Is a statement signed by the executive director of Yaga Africa, Samson Itodo. But it's something we're following. Just to give you that update on that one.
And that's how it's been on the show today. And what a week it's been. But there's more to come, particularly on Channels Television. So stay with us. The trial will be back again next week. Same time for your perfect morning starter, the Morning Brief. I am Bukola Koka.
I'm Kayode Kikilu. Sunrise Daily is next, but we'll continue with our yoga. All right,
Yeah.
so stretch to the... Oh, no,